Welcome, everyone. God bless you. Welcome to another um, uh, live streaming, uh, the weekly live streaming that we do here for DOMSE. And I pray that you've had a wonderful and spiritual Sunday so far by either going to church or participating in the live streaming from your church. Today's gospel reading is very, very interesting because it is repeated. We read this gospel reading a couple of months ago, 2-3 months ago, and the church wants to convey a certain message to all of us. And as you know, in the Orthodox Church, we believe in repetition. When we go to a liturgy being a divine liturgy or Vespers or Paraclesis, any service in the church is called a liturgy. The word liturgy in Greek means liturgia, means the work of the people. The one on Sunday morning is called the divine liturgy. The church wants to convey a message over and over again on how the disciples were called by Christ in the gospel reading today. Let me read it to you. It's a short reading. It's from the gospel according to St. Luke, chapter 5, verse 1 through 11. At that time, Jesus was standing by the lake of Gennesaret, and he saw two boats by the lake. But the fishermen had gone out of them and were washing their nets. Getting into one of the boats, which was Simon's, Jesus asked him to put out a little from the land. And he sat down and taught the people from the boat. And when Jesus had finished speaking, he said to Simon, "Put out into the deep and let down your nets for a catch." And Simon answered, "Master, we toiled all night and took nothing, but at thy word I will let down the nets." And when they had done this, they enclosed a great shoal of fish. And as their nets were breaking, they beckoned to their partners in the other boat to come and help them. And they came and filled both the boats so that they began to sink. But when Simon Peter saw it, he fell down at Jesus' knees, saying, "Depart from me, for I am a sinful man, O Lord." For he was astonished, and all that were with him, at the catch of fish which they had taken. And so also were James and John, sons of Zebedee, who were partners with Simon. And Jesus said to Simon, "Do not be afraid. Henceforth you will be catching men." And when they had brought their boats to land, they left everything and followed him. If you recall, we read this a few months ago on a Sunday as well. And back then I said, and I would like to repeat it again because it is such an important message, that there is a hidden message in this text. There is a hidden message in this gospel reading. It is hidden in plain sight. It is basically when Jesus called Simon and his friends to follow him. It is not as clear in this gospel reading as it is in the other one, in the other gospel reading, from another gospel according to, I believe it was Matthew. It was clearer because it had more details. He did not call Simon to follow him when he saw him. He did not call him to follow him until he caught so much fish because Jesus wanted to give him and his friends the choice. If he called them to follow him without having the choice of having so much fish, he would have had to follow him because he would not have had any money to eat that day. Back then, the food they catch during that day is their food for that day. They sell most of it and buy food for themselves if they don't eat the fish that they caught, or at least some of the fish. So he gave them, implicitly, he gave them a choice. You can sell the fish or you can follow me. And this is the definition of Orthodox obedience, Christian obedience. They had a choice, but they chose to follow him. The gospel reading says, and they left everything and followed him. They left everything willfully and followed him. They could have taken the fish and sold it and made so much money, because as the gospel reading said, they were astonished at how much fish they were able to catch, to the extent that they motioned to their friends in the other boat to come and help them. They had never caught so much fish. So the point is that we have a choice. Simon and his friends who had a choice, we have a choice. We can obey God or not obey God. Obedience is a choice. It is not forced. We may choose to be obedient to God or may not choose to do so. It's up to us. And God does not force us. This is one of the beautiful aspects of Christianity and Orthodoxy, is that we have a choice. And God keeps reiterating this fact that we have a choice. And that's why the church is reading this gospel reading more than once a year. So we have a choice to follow Christ or not. And by choice, God willing, we are following Christ, but we need to improve this type of obedience to him. Sometimes our egos stand in the way. Sometimes we allow our stubbornness to stand in the way. And after a while, we realize that we regret it. Hopefully, we regret it. And we adjust our path. Peter and his friends did not need to hear it twice. Did not need to hear it twice. Just the first time they heard him say, "You will be fisher of men," and they followed him immediately. If you recall, St. Anthony the Great did exactly the same thing. He was in church when the gospel reading was, "Sell everything you have and follow me." That's exactly what he did. He sold everything, went to the desert, and became the father of monasticism. Again, we too have a choice. We can follow him or not follow him. There is nobody is forced to follow Christ. It doesn't work. When we are willful in following Christ, we do it eagerly and we do it honestly. Even though sometimes we stray away from the path, as we recognize that fact, probably in a confession or talking to our spiritual father, we adjust our path to follow Christ again. It is such an important point. As you type your questions, I have a few announcements for the fall retreat, which is next weekend, I believe, the 2nd through the 4th. So far, as of today, we have 401 registrants. We are still not where we should be. We are at 401 registrants. We had about 150 people register in the past week. I'm hoping for more people to register and benefit from the fall retreat. It will be extremely beneficial. The topics are extremely useful and interesting. We have multiple clergy speaking. We have some lay people speaking. We have 3 psychologists speaking. The topics address some of the issues that we are facing during this pandemic as they relate to Psalm 130, which is how pleasant it is for brethren to dwell together in unity. So far we have 401 people registered. If you have not registered, please register your family, tell friends to register. And the way to register is you can go to the website. It's DOMSE, DOMSE.org, DOMSE.org. And if you scroll down, there is the fall retreat. You can click on it and register for the fall retreat. The breakdown of the 401 registrants are 40 clergy. We're still not up to our potential. Only 40 clergymen have registered. 163 women, 86 men. The women are winning the challenge. 163 women, 86 men. So we need more men to register to make it a competition. Hopefully the men will register and give the Ethiopian women a run for their money. So if you are a man and you have not registered, please go ahead and register. If you know other men who have not registered, invite them, ask them to register. So 40 clergy, 163 women, 86 men, 29 young adults over 20, 40 teen soyo between 13 and 19, 34 children between 4 and 12, and 9 infants up to 3 years old. And by the way, there is something for everyone. There are sessions for clergy and clergy only. So we need all the clergy to register. There are sessions, common sessions for everybody. There are sessions for men, sessions for women. The soyo, young adults and soyo are included. There are sessions for the kids. We have the kids club in there. Anna Sarah is running that. Anna Sarah Farha from Jacksonville is running that. So please encourage people to register. This Tuesday, the 29th, at 7 p.m., I will be meeting with the teens leadership, with the teen presidents or leaders in the entire diocese at 7 p.m., 29th of September. If you are a teenager or you know a teenager who hasn't registered, let them call or email Gabby Bleem. She is the Teen Soyo president. So it is on the 29th. I met with the Antiochian women leadership, with the young adult, with the Antiochian men, with the Sunday school directors. 2 more meetings left. The Order of St. Ignatius, we have to set it up, and the choir directors. So we will have to do that in October, God willing. Okay, let me get to your questions. Yeah, Alicia, go ladies. Exactly, step up, man. We need the men to step up. Okay. Well, Elias is saying the men need to leap. Stepping up is not enough. We need 100 more men to register in order to make it a real competition with the women. Yeah, good idea, Elizabeth. The women need to register their men. Good idea, Elizabeth. Let the women register the men. Please encourage them. Have them register. Have them come and participate. Well, Alicia, you have time. We still have less than a week to register. You can register. There is time. Out of curiosity, 40 is what percentage of the clergy? Well, we have 40 clergy who registered. We have about 53 clergymen in the diocese, 53, 55, I don't remember exactly. 40 of them have registered. So that's a high percentage. We need it to be 100%. Because, like I said, there is a track especially for the clergy. Sarah has another question above. Let's see. Okay, thank you, Michael. I didn't see that. How can obedience work with people who struggle with addiction issues? That is a very difficult choice to make for those who are addicted to whatever it is. By the way, any of us can be addicted to anything. We can be addicted to anything, not just alcohol, not just drugs. We can be addicted to steaks. We can be addicted to chocolate. No addiction is good. How can we be obedient if we are addicted to something? Addiction needs help. One of the helps that you can get is a spiritual father. A spiritual father can guide the person who is addicted and can further guide them to go to AA or some other professional method of addiction. But the start is to go to a spiritual father. The start is to go to a spiritual father, and as I have said, almost on every live streaming, every Orthodox Christian must have a spiritual father. And when I say must, I mean you have to do it on your own, but it is a necessity for you. It is a necessity for you for your benefit. It's not that someone is going to come and force you to have a spiritual father. The benefit of having a spiritual father is immense. It's immense. So I advise everyone, if you don't have a spiritual father, to get a spiritual father. Again, usually, the spiritual father is the pastor of the church. But sometimes that doesn't work, and no reflection on the pastor of the church. You need to find a spiritual father who is a priest or a bishop. You need to observe them, see if they do what they say, see if you have chemistry with them, and then go and say, I want you to be my spiritual father. Okay, let's see. Are there any other questions? Michael is saying, how are our brothers and sisters in Christ doing in Pensacola after the hurricane. Okay, they're doing much better now. Most of Pensacola has power, and everything keeps improving over there. I keep checking with Father David Bleem and people who work and assist in the diocese, like Gabby, his daughter is the president of Teen Soyo, and other people. The Khouria Nora is the choir director for the diocese, and a few other people, Pam Kelly, and so on. So everything is getting better, thank God, and will continue to go better. At the Antiochian Men meeting in a week or so, we will discuss finding ways to help them even more. Any other question? Again, we have 401 individuals registered, and we would like to have a much higher number. If you know someone, please ask them to register, or even register them and tell them that you registered them so that they can benefit from the fall retreat. But at the same time, you need to get their consent before you register them, so that willfully they go to the retreat on Zoom. It is not face to face. They go to the retreat on Zoom and participate in the retreat and benefit from it. Wonderful. God bless you. If there are no more questions, may you have a wonderful week, and we'll see you next week, God willing. I will see some of you on Wednesday evening. God bless you. Take care. Bye-bye.